Hey guys, it's Vince at Mastering the Method, and today we are going to cover a live print. Once again, I'm using Simplify3D 5.1. I've already got one of my components loaded onto the build plate, and of course, I'm just going to manipulate it so that the portion that's actually making contact with the build plate will be the top. So in order to do that, you're just going to come over here, and you're going to select that, and you can see how the software then selects basically the side you want to make contact, in which case I want the top selected, so I just wait till it's highlighted and then I click on it. You can see now I'm configured properly on where I want to be. Now most of you for componentry, depending upon what you're going to be using, you'll probably go with the center and arrange. That's typically what I do. I've already covered basically the process overview as far as the settings to be used. I am printing this out of nylon carbon fiber, and in the previous video you got to see how this part actually came out, and now I'm going to do the print and again show you what it will look like in a live configuration. The other thing to keep in mind is you can orientate this part. You can come over here, you've got cross section, you've also got your model transforms, and this basically allows you to change rotation, change the scaling, change position. Once again, it goes on and on. If we come over here, and in my case I'm going to go -90, I am now at the front of the printer and I'm set. This is exactly the way I want to print this component. And this is just my preference. It's not that it wouldn't print in any other direction, it's just something that I've chosen to do. So again, we're all set here, and now I'm going to show you again for the guys that are really interested in this software, because I think many of you, as you see me go through this, are going to be more interested in it just due to the fact of how it works in terms of showing all of the detail of what you can do, especially in an engineering type printer like this. We're going to go to prepare to print. And then it says one of your extruders used during the print does not have a temperature control that is being heated. Are you sure you want to continue? Yes. And why it's giving me this warning, which I love, is due to the fact I'm only going to be using one extruder. And that be extruder 0 under the methods terminology. And the reason I'm doing that is because I'm not printing in PVA. This is fantastic because then again you can see that this will be printed, and that's something that we do want to do because again we're going to save material in the long run, and I can't emphasize enough just how much PVA you guys will save over using the conventional cloud software that Makerbot bundles with their printer in terms of use. So I'm going to yes this. Everything is set here, and now we are in our explosion to see exactly how this part will be printed. You can see we even have our brim. You can see everything coming over with the skirt and going around, and everything is all set. You can also see your actual graph here. Many of you are familiar with Simplify. For those that aren't, you've got highlights in different colors once again to segregate exact what components you're looking at, whether it be travel, outer perimeter, inner perimeter, internal single extrusion, solid layer ironing, infill, skirt, and brim. Your play and pause, if you wanted to see this actually be created, the part, you can see it. The newest feature that I truly love with this software is the fact, we'll come back over here and show you what it looks like completed, is this feature right here called Live Preview Tracking. Now what this allows you to do is once it's selected, we'll check that box, it's going to show you this component taking shape starting at ground zero over here where it would begin showing you a simulation, and show you the print taking effect as it's actually being printed on the build plate in true time. Similar to a digital format of what Makerbot does with their Makerbot print software, which we'll still have to use because we have to do it to actually clarify that the build plate is clear to start printing. And I'll show you this format. But it is really cool if you just wanted to stay within Simplify and actually see where you're actually printing at. It updates periodically, and you'll see exactly as the build is being created where you're at, unless you'd rather just watch the Makerbot do it live on its camera. You can do both at the same time if you like. I've done it that way as well. Now again, up here, build summary, love this information. It's telling you your build time, it's telling me my material costs, layer count, so on and so forth, and everything here is as it should be. Again, travel moves you can show in the preview, tool head, retractions. These are all options if you decide to go that way. Now, I'm all set, so I'm going to click on Begin Printing on the machine. It's going to say, please select the device that you would be used for printing. Of course, I'm using the Makerbot Method X Carbon Edition. And now you can see it's sending the file to the method. Everything is set there. And we are now connected. Everything is now set. And the print, you may find, does not start right away. And the reason it doesn't, I'm just going to shrink the machine control panel, is we're going to go to our desktop. And I've got Makerbot Print software. And the reason you'll want to use the Makerbot Print software, now this is not Cloud Print, this is the downloadable version of their Makerbot Print software. It will work as well with this printer. The reason you want to use this is so we can connect directly to the method. Now, this is my preference. You can do as you like. But when you do that, you can see here it says Method X is at idle. And now I'm going to click on it. And right now I'm getting clear build plate. Please be sure your build plate is clear, and now you're ready to start your print. So you would just click on this. Once I click on this, we're now homing. And for those of you who have not used the method before, this is standard operating procedure, and you'll begin seeing your chamber come up to temperature. Now, as the chamber comes up to temperature, you will notice that, of course, your extruders will stay at their idle temperature until the chamber temperature is correctly hit. Now, one other thing I want to point out, you're going to notice if you watch my previous video where I cover my settings, my chamber temperature is registered at 80 degrees Celsius. It's being displayed in this software at 70 degrees Celsius, yet when we check the temperature on the printer, it usually will be at 80 degrees. So I don't know, the only thing I can assume is that there's something in a glitch with this software, meaning the Makerbot Print software. I don't understand why that would be the case otherwise. But if you watch this screen, you will see your chamber temp slowly climbing, and that's exactly what's happening right now. We're in a home configuration position. You can see where our glue has been applied to the build plate, and we're set to go. Now you can shrink this software, come back to Simplify. And you'll notice that we're still in this direct configuration, meaning we're at the finish line of where the software would show you in simulation mode where our print is. Once the print begins, you will see, pending of course you have active, and I'll show it to you right here, pending of course you're in the machine control panel in terms of being connected, you can see where our X, Y, and Z axis are all being reflected. You will see when the print starts that this will start from the very beginning. And once again, live preview tracking will track the progress of the print being performed. So again, if we click over accessory controls, you can see once again your experimental and extruder 2 have not increased in temperature simply because we're still heating our chamber. Okay. If we come over here to sensor data, you can see now you're actually showing the temperature of your extruders, which once again have not moved, only because we are still heating our chamber. And the communication is of course taking place. So if we come back over into the print software, you can see the temperature is already at 55 degrees Celsius, and we're going to continue to climb. So what I'm going to do is, as this is continuing to climb, as soon as it starts printing, I will go and show you guys exactly what you're going to see. Now, once again, these are using my settings. If you decide not to use my settings declared for the first layer and want to go faster, you'll see that. This will be a relatively slow process. I'm not going to bore you with hours of, going through the entire process. I'm going to show it starting. I'll show it when it's, progressing, and you can see how the layers are coming out, and then this way you get a better feel of exactly what I'm talking about with this software. Once again, this is my preferred workflow. It does not have to be yours. I'm sure other guys will figure out what they want to do. This is something I've tried and true for now at least a couple months. And again, now they do have the 5.1 latest release of the software, and I cannot emphasize enough, guys, this software is really a game changer. At least it's been for me. So I'm going to cut the video here. We're about, they're saying about 7 degrees difference, which of course is not the case because, again, what's being reflected here in the chamber temperature is not accurate. As soon as I hit the correct temperature and he starts to go to work, I will continue the video. Stay tuned. Okay guys, printing is, as you can see, starting. I'm just right now adjusting the camera so you focus, and you can see, as planned, we've got perfect filament coming out. Right now we are doing our skirt. There we go. We're just going to come around. And just so you guys know, right now I am printing with a moisture rating as far as the hygrometer built into the system on the nylon carbon fiber at 14% humidity. I do not believe it's going to make that much of a difference, only because of what exactly I did with adjusting how our print settings are with, again, the ooze settings. We shouldn't see that much, if any. And you can see this is at 20% speed in real time, what you're actually going to be printing at for first layer. And many of you are going, man, that's so slow. And that's okay. I'm not trying to go really fast. Again, I'm looking for a quality print. Everybody is different. If you feel you want to go faster, God bless you. Again, I find that this speed really produces beautiful prints, at least for that first layer, and then the speed will accelerate. And again, I'm just shooting this now so you guys can get a really good understanding of what in real time these speeds actually look like. And just to clarify, the software, when you put in your maximum speed for, let's say, your X and Y travel at 3,700 millimeters is what I'm running right now, it runs a percentage. So when you say 20%, if you want to calculate your actual speed, it's 20% of that maximum speed. The only time you actually will see that 3,700 millimeter speed actually doing rapid motion is the easiest way to say it. When the printer is not printing, it's moving to another area to print, and you will see that how it moves very, very rapidly. The other thing to consider is that, of course, going this slow, you are virtually guaranteed a very, very nice first layer. As long as you have extrusion, you should be set, and again, adhesion properly done with the print bed. Another thing to pay attention to, and this is something I do routinely, always pay attention to how clean your nozzle is after a print. If the nozzle is getting really dirty, you know odds are something may be incorrectly set as far as at least your Z-axis height or over extrusion. Certain filaments will, of course, make more of a mess than others, but even with PETG, if you have the Z-axis height set correctly, and of course the extrusion amount, which I have not had to adjust any of the extrusion amounts in the software for this unit, using Simplify, really it's just the Z-axis height I would begin with to make adjustments. But you should very, very rarely have any filament come off onto the nozzle itself. Again, you can see he's printing our holes. It's very interesting how this software actually breaks the print down. But I think you guys get an overall gist of what you're looking at. I mean, if we were to do this with Cloud Print, I can tell you right now, like many of you have already experienced, you're not getting anywhere near as close and precise a print like this as far as being clean. And you can see that. And again, this has 14% humidity in this material right now, at least registered from the material bay on the printer.
So I'm going to stop the video here on this portion so I won't bore you to death. And as it starts continuing, I will let the first layer continue a little more, and then I'll come back over and show you exactly where we're at.
Okay guys, I am back looking at the Makerbot print software just to monitor the camera on the method. We're just about finishing up the first layer. Again, with this camera, of course, you can't see the detail in it. I'll shoot the printer directly, but I wanted to highlight that extruder 1 is at 248 degrees. Like I said, it usually drifts between 4 or 5 degrees difference in what the actual set temperature is. I do have the set temperature for nylon carbon fiber at 252. Right now we're representing 2% as far as completion of the print. Chambers at 71, at least what's being represented here. I've already checked the printer and it's at about 81, 82 as far as chamber temp. So again, this number's inaccurate, at least in this software. And then if we come over here to simplify, as I stated to you earlier, you can see that we're getting our progress on our build. And you can see where we are with our layers. There's the infill. And right now we're on layer 8. And the other thing is, if we come over to the machine control panel, you can see that your axes are moving and changing. Your elapsed time here for your print that has been going is right there. And again, the remaining, now this clock, do not be afraid by this clock. It will continuously reduce itself dramatically as the print progresses. Right now we're at progress 2%. I am under accessory control tab, and you can see the experimental extruder is clocked in at 248 degrees. Movement controls are here, of course. Accessory controls, extruder 2 is not being lit. You can see the LED for experimental is illuminated. And then if I come over here to sensor data, you can see where our temperature is on the graph. And you can see where we're up here. And again, using the legend on top, you can see T0 is the actual the nylon carbon fiber extruder. Again, it's not the PVA extruder in the secondary slot. You can see what's going on here and why it's in blue to represent that. So again, real simple, very easy to use. Now, if I turn off live tracking, and now I come over here and I hit play pause, I can come over and just basically go all the way up or watch the entire demonstration of the simulation going. As soon as I stop this and I turn back on live tracking, you can see we go right back to our save spot. Now, that will only be the case, and I highlight this because I've ran into this issue myself, when you have the machine control panel in the connected mode. So you want to make sure you are connected and leave it connected once the file has been sent. But again, you can actually see what's going on there. And then if you wanted to, and I've done this many times, you can bring this up and you can actually watch. And now you can see we're starting to move now very quickly. And I'm going to go and shoot the actual steps now that we're moving, because we're going into the second layer. And you can see how fast the printer is moving. And again, we can see all our axis moving and the correlation happening there along with the communication that's occurring with the machine control panel. So I'm going to end this here and I'll go shoot the printer live and show you exactly what I'm talking about.
Okay, as promised, I am in front of the method and you can see him doing his thing, and now we're printing at basically regular speed. The only faster movements you'll see is once we do rapid movements just to actually go to a different print location. Again, I'm now at 3%, and if we come over here, okay, we'll come over here. Now you guys can see, now I am running the latest firmware, and you can see where the actual sensors are reading different numbers. And you can see chamber temp build plane is at 80 degrees Celsius. The extruder temp is at 248. Extruder 2 is off, even though it's running at 60, and I think that's just ambient temperature from the chamber temp, and everything else is now correlated. The other thing I want to point out is you guys can monitor your actual sensors as the printer is going. I told you I'm at 14%, and you can see right there. Let's see if it goes. There we go. I'll highlight it again. If you hit the refresh button, you're going to get all of those numbers refreshed. If they change, you can see humidity in the first chamber once again is at 14%. Come up. We'll go over here, and you guys can watch the encoder ticks change. A lot of this has not been highlighted at all by Makerbot, but it is really cool to watch. As you hit refresh, can see everything actually adjusting. Printing. And now we're back over to this screen and we're set. And you can see laying glass. Now on this layer, of course, it will go and do the ironing pass, which I discussed earlier. If you guys have not used that setting or are wanting to play with it, it is amazing to watch. But you can definitely see that first layer looks amazing. I'm just moving the camera slowly so you can see any abnormalities if they existed, and you can see it's very, very concentric. So I will let him continue, and I'll continue to shoot, and we'll keep going, and I'll give you guys, the build continues, I won't bore you with just continuous printing. Okay, we are now at 12%, and you can see we are not missing a beat. And for all my fellow method owners out there, I really cannot emphasize enough how much you'll appreciate saving all that money on the PVA filament by not having to use purge towers mandatorily, at least to get these kind of results. And again, you can see what we've got here. Temperature once again. You can see exactly what we're running. What's really interesting, and I know many of you know this already, is if you look at many of the method prints that are on YouTube for people that actually have recorded this machine actually doing its thing, I have never really seen a clean print out of them. I've always seen them look, you know, really filled with ooze, with nodules all over the place, or zits. And you can see already we're starting to take shape and just how clean this looks. So I will continue to shoot.
Okay guys, I am now at 26%. Once again, I'm just looking in Makerbot print software. You can see the camera here. We're definitely taking shape. Temperatures are holding true. I'm going to come back over to Simplify. And again, you can see with the live preview tracking now where we stand. And right now we're saying at 87 as far as layer. And as far as coming over and checking out the machine control panel, again, you can see everything is functioning. Again, we are tracking our X, Y, and Z. And you can see that our progress now at 26%, the elapsed time has been 2 hours, 24 minutes, and remaining is 6 hours and 51 minutes, but you can see that number dramatically reduced. So we're all set there. My next video portion of this will cover me shooting the printer itself. So I'm going to go over and shoot the printer itself, show you what the layers look like, and again, it's just doing the same thing over and over again. It looks perfect. Stay tuned.
Okay, now we are at 28%, and you can see the pillars are starting to come in. And I just wanted you guys to pay close attention. You could see exactly what I meant by setting up so that your travel path is no longer going to be moving over open spaces. You can see that as it travels now, it goes right back over and does the next one and then goes over again. So there's absolutely no chance of ooze. to see this feature in action, especially on the Method, you really can appreciate it. Even on a simple component like this. See, we're doing another pass. Extremely clean. Okay, stay tuned. I'll keep filming. Okay, guys, we are now at 50%, and here's what we've got. And again, it's probably the first time most of you have seen this printer actually performing like you would see typically in the Makerbot X. I know for me it was when I first seen this, because I was never able to achieve these kind of results. I'm just panning around so you can see exactly what we've got in the back. Make sure everything is down. But you can see just how perfect that setting to make sure that, once again, we do not actually travel over open space. Just how effective this is. So I think I've definitely proved my point. I can't wait for this print to finish, and we'll take a final shot of it coming out of the printer so you guys can see exactly where we're at.
Okay guys, you can see the print is completed, and this again is the window that you'll typically get when a print is completed. You'll get the checkbox. You can click on done. That's all set. We will go over and look at the printer and see how this print turned out. And again, you can come over to Simplify and you can see we've got the finished print. It's actually showing the completed unit. So everything here looks good. Let's go see how it turned out at the printer.
Okay guys, we are looking at the actual print now, and you can see exactly how this turned out. Joanna's helping me film. Just come in here a little bit and just show them before I take out the build plate. And you can see where we're at and around. So you can see, there you go. You can see just how that print came out. Now I'm going to pull out the build plate. You see how careful I did that? I just lift up real carefully and then we release it. Now we'll come over here. And again, I know that in the videos that Makerbot does, they bend the plate really abruptly, and I find that bending it real slow usually works out the best, and you can see exactly what we've got. Here's your first layer, and now I'm going to turn it. You can see very smooth finish. And again, I've pointed this out in the previous video, but looking at your fill, this is really important, because when I was printing before with Makerbot's cloud software, all within the top fill portions were left basically open. I don't know why that is. The only thing I can attribute that to is, once again, to poor software. But if you look at the finish on the carbon, it is amazing. Even at the pillars, you can see from actually going through and following the trace to do the print, doing the ironing, it really pays off. You get such a beautiful print. And that first layer is amazing. And that's just glue stick. That's what that haze is, of course. But again, I have screws that go in here. Just stay focused on that. I'll go and screw. And I'll just show you how these work as far as a finished component. Because again, a lot of you will be using this printer for finished components. And that's a 6/32 screw. And you can see just how easy. Right in. Perfect. So again, showing you an actual print, just how smooth that has come out. And the easiest way to check it out, and I've said this before, run your cloud print that comes with Makerbot's method. See what happens. See if any of your prints come out looking like this. Matter of fact, you can even see, just like in the first print, here is our skirt, that one trace, a filament, and that's it. And you're all set. Super clean. I just wanted to show you guys, I've done a print before, and this is the one we just got done doing, and I wanted to show you the consistency factor. Because in engineering, everything is based on consistency. And you can see the finishes on these are virtually identical. I mean, everything here, very, very, very clean. So, this is something that is seldomly discussed, but if you're actually trying to do parts for sale or parts to build your components, this is critical that you're able to get consistent results. And you can see right there, it really doesn't get any more consistent than that. You can see the geometry in the holes perfect, the first surface perfect. Again, the inside pillars, no ooze marks, nothing. Now mind you, I was printing again with 14% humidity, and that's detected in the bay for the nylon carbon fiber. I don't recommend going that high. I would still like to probably do a drying cycle and just reduce that. Maybe to stay down to about 11, maybe 12. That's still much better. But overall, the results, they speak for themselves. And I do give full credit of this to Simplify. Thank you guys for watching. I'll have more videos to come. Once again, I'd love to hear your comments. I'd love to hear some questions. Thank you all for your support. Take care.